Well, you read the title of this video. The title of this video should be something like comforting lives versus unpleasant truths, or hard truths. And basically, what it is, it's a couple things, right? So, um, first of all, it's my friends are part of it, like politically, right? And just seeing what's going on, or kind of seeing what's been going on over the past couple years when it comes to like politics, when it comes to social situations, and also one of my experiences at summer camp. I felt like I had to make this video, right? So uncomforting truths are versus pleasant lies, or comforting lies versus unpleasant truths, right? So Um, if you know me, uh, I'm a very realistic truth kind of person, right? And I'm not saying that that's me 100% of the time. So, for example, the reason why that I joined the Black Pill was because I thought it was a hyperdose of reality. And some elements of that still hold true of the Black Pill. Like, you cannot be telling me that everyone is equally able to get a partner, and you can't tell me that everyone looks just as attractive, right? Or that the majority of the population, 95% of the population, would agree realistically that everyone is not like comforting lies, but realistically that all people are just as attractive as one another, no matter how much they weigh, no matter what kind of deformations they might have. Now, I'm not saying that we should treat these people like garbage, but I think we should be honest to these kinds of people. Um, but and we'll see why, right? We'll talk about dating and everything. But if you know me, the reason why that I've been following the Black Pill, and the reason why I've been questioning relationships in general, or why I originally followed the Black Pill, was because of a hyperdose of reality. I am not. Yes, yes, thank you. I am not the type of person to fall into the uncomforting lies camp. Now, the problem is that sometimes real truths can destroy your self-esteem. I will say that, but I'm not uh, somebody that likes comforting lies, because I think that it hurts people more than anything, much more than if you told them the realistic truth about something. I think that they will genuinely appreciate your advice a lot more if they ask you for advice. Don't say this to somebody that doesn't ask for a rating or doesn't ask for advice, right? If you're going to give a realistic truth, which is what you should be doing, a hard cold truth, which is what you should be doing, then give constructive criticism and give options for what your friends or what people need to do to improve their situation. And I think that's a lot healthier than spewing some comforting lies, because those people, while they might have a little bit of a breakdown from you telling them that, they're going to realize that everything that people like you have been saying, the majority of people that like comforting lies, is bullshit, right? And they have just wasted their time trying to do something um, in which they cannot realistically achieve, or something of that related matter. Sorry, my mind's a little foggy today. Um, so, so I'm going to give some examples for comforting lies versus hard truths, right? So the idea that there's going to be a couple. One comforting lie is saving money. Now, there are people that genuinely cannot save a dime, but generally those people have gotten to themselves into that situation by taking on too much debt. Um, Realistically, a lot of people have a few $100s by the end of the month, even if it's $100 or $200. that they could be saving. And they do stuff like get morning coffee every single day, which actually ends up costing thousands of dollars. They get, they eat out twice or three times a week, and they see it as like some sort of normal thing, like, oh well, I should be able to do that. But the truth of the matter is, most of the time when somebody says they can't save up, like you tell them, hey, if you're having these debt problems, then maybe you should stop. Um, this is more of like a self-comforting lie, right? It's by just basically dismissing it by saying that I'm not really expending anything um, on anything unnecessary, and there's really nothing I can do to cut down your expenses. Where deep down, you know that there are things where you can cut as far as expenses. But let's move on to the juicier ones. The idea that anybody can do anything as long as they try hard enough. That is such BS, right? And I hate the fact that it's taught in our education system that if you try hard enough, you can achieve anything you want to, both in the media and the education system. And I think a positive message would be is if you don't try, you have 0% chance of succeeding, because that's true. But there are people that do not have the natural capability, the IQ or the aptitude, academic aptitude, and they never will, to be able to do a particular field, right? And for example, right? And this is something that we need to be honest with ourselves, is like, with each other. Is like, if a friend goes to me and I don't know, they have some sort of mental deficiency and they say I can't get through college algebra no matter how hard I try, chances are I'm going to say to them, or actually very likely I'm going to say to them, I didn't even know this game had solar panels. What I'm going to say to them is, you probably should look to do some other kind of work, because the idea that you can just work for anything, you can just work hard and achieve anything you want to, is a lie. And not all of us are born naturally equivalently capable, right? And it's just bullshit to think that that's true. To think that somebody that has an IQ of 145 plus, who's graduated high school at age 8 or 9, has the same natural raw capability of somebody that lags behind 2 years. It's just not true. No, but there are people that are not going to be insanely smart, and they never will be. That doesn't mean that they're inferior individuals or bad. It means they need more support. They need more support. But, right, it doesn't make them inferior individuals, and we shouldn't treat them like trash. We should treat them with just as much respect as somebody that's advanced, highly advanced. But the truth of the matter is that not everyone has the same raw natural capabilities. And it's also noteworthy, I saw this on r/cognitive testing, which is that people hate to attribute things to intelligence. So if you're a self-made multimillionaire, it's not intelligence, it's just you know what to financially do, or you are financially well off to begin with, right? If it's academic talent, well, that's not intelligence. That's just how good you are at math after studying a lot. If it's getting into a prestigious Ivy League school, which is trash, I don't actually think I think the people there are smart generally, right? They have very high SAT and ACT scores, which are basically IQ tests, by the way, because they're so highly correlated with G. I'm in the psychometrics industry. I can tell you that right now. The SAT and ACT are IQ tests. And I've read psychologist blogs about straight A students that just don't have high IQs. They will get 30th, 60th, 40th percentile on the SAT, because the SAT is correlated more with IQ than anything. So anyways. But yeah, I mean, where was I? Anyways, so yeah, the idea that natural capability that everyone can be successful at what they do, and everyone has equal capability is a lie. Oh, yes. And so anyways, I was reading a post about multimillionaire not correlated with intelligence, or not, it's not because of intelligence. Academic ability, not because of intelligence. Very good at a particular, very good at chess, not because of intelligence. Right? And I'm not saying that there aren't people that can be good at chess and have a lower, like an average IQ. I believe there was a chess master that took Mets in Norway, which is a pretty reliable online test. He got 105, and I've seen some physicists. There was a physicist in r/cognitive testing who had an IQ of 98. So there are people that are able to break that kind of ceiling, but let's be realistic. Are the majority of individuals going to do that no matter how hard they try? No. If they don't have the natural IQ to do so, the natural ability to do so, they're not going to be able to successfully accomplish anything in life. And that's a hard truth we have to realize, is that this world is essentially a hierarchy, and a big part of it comes from our IQ. So, it's fixed within us. Well, I wouldn't say that. See, when I was young, I would score. I think I scored like average because of autism in an intelligence tests. But nowadays, I score 98th, 99th, and this is first try, by the way. 98th, 99th, 99.9. So, but I've always had early developmental, like, gifted indicators, right? And I have certain traits like memorizing 50 digits of pi and never having to recite them in order to remember them, and it remains for years. Things like that, which indicate it, right? So that average ability test was bullshit, I think. Maybe that's a comforting line, but I doubt it, because IQ doesn't increase by 30 or 40 points for no reason, right? It just doesn't. So anyways, yeah, now I score 140, 150 plus on nonverbal tests, matrices tests. I have very high working memory and digit span and arithmetic. I can even at times multiply 2 by 2 multiplication in my brain. But anyways, this isn't like some sort of like show off, right? This is just it was just kind of me being sidetracked a little bit. So yeah, the idea that if you follow your passion in any like career field, that it will lead to success. So this would be something like if I got a degree in gender studies, right? That I would be able to be successful off of that. And that is such a lie. Even the idea of, well, I won't pursue art as a college degree, but I'll do it in my free time and it'll sell well. That's also a lie. There's no telling whether you're going to be successful at art. You may put in a lot of hard work and time and never be successful, right? So that's another example of a comforting lie. But you can see people just don't want to admit it, right? And they're just going to deny and deny and deny that these exist. No, I don't think that's true. I feel like that's false. Sorry, but it's the truth. Not everyone is cut out to do everything. There are going to be people, there is a hierarchy in intelligence and capabilities. In life is unfair. Not everything is going to lead to success that you do. Things like that, right? But what I will say is, in order not to be a doomer, based on this video, if you're watching this, say to yourself that there is no chance if you don't try, right? So, I would say a good chunk of time, if you try really hard at something, you'll get it. You'll get it. It's within bounds of humans being able to do it, right? So you'll be able, so let's say you have an average IQ, right? And you practice for the ACT or SAT, which are basically IQ tests, but you practice them anyway, right? What you want to do is set a realistic goal. Are you going to get 99th percentile on it? No. You're not. Let's be honest. You're not going to get 99th percentile on it unless you were gifted and talented. You're just not. Unless you're a very rare exceptional case, which there are. But let's set something realistic. Let's try to go for 80th percentile or 85th percentile, right? So, in order to have a positive mindset while dealing with these realistic hard truths, you try to set realistic goals and expectations. And when trying to confront your friends about maybe something not going the way that they want it to, or maybe they're just not admitting something that they should be, you should try to be honest with them, and try to help them. So, say, I don't think that you're going to be able to get 99th percentile on the ACT. But I think if you try enough, you could get 80th percentile and you could go into a rather good college, right? Something like that, where it has a positive mindset and it's actually honest advice and it helps them, right? And that is so much better than having a comfortable lie. Or, like, I don't know, the food sucks at a party. Somebody made a pie and it sucks, and you rate it a 3 out of 10. So you would pull them out because you don't want to embarrass them. That's unnecessary. You say, if they say rate it out of 10, you say 3 out of 10. Here's what I think you could do to improve. Because would you rather just have them never know and be able to improve themselves in cooking, right? And meanwhile, everyone is like plugging their noses eating this thing, fucking trying not to puke? No. I've rated now. And I've practiced this before. I'm one of those rare friends that does this, that will tell you the honest truth about things. So yeah. I mean, you have to have a positive mindset going forward while dealing with these realistic truths, these hard truths, which is hard to do. But if you set reasonable goals, if you try to find other pathways to success that you can obtain, if you give it your best shot and you can't do it, and you set your goal on something else, these are all good ways to cope with hard truths, and they have positive outcomes. Sorry, I might not be the most verbose today, but yeah. So that's the kind of thing that I say to my friends. Now, I'll give you an example of this, right? So I was taking a forestry class over this. I was teaching kids about a forestry class over the summer. And these were like 6th grade, 7th grade kids. This was at a summer camp. And I was like an instructor there. It ended in disaster, by the way, but it's fine. I'm over it now. I've grown as a person since then. I told the kids, they said, explain how to, the requirement said, like, explain how to get a forestry job. And I told the kids, like, you can get a forestry job by doing a 4-year college degree, but likely you're not really going to get much. You're really not going to get much out of it. Like, there are not going to be a lot of opportunities in forestry, and they're not going to pay very high, so you should probably do it as a free time subject. Now, I should have reworded it, right? I mean, I should have tried to sell forestry, and that was my mistake, right? You don't want to make forestry, you don't want to kill kids' passions, but you want to redirect them to something that is obtainable and something that they can do while giving them honest. So for example, right, I should have said that the best route that you should take is, instead of going to college, you should do it as a free time passion and try to get jobs, maybe as somebody working in Yellowstone or something like that, right? Try to get some work at a forest as a volunteer if you like forestry that much. Things like that. Or related jobs like that. I should have said that instead of, well, a 4-year college degree isn't that good in forestry because you're not going to have a lot of opportunity. You see how the difference in message that is? Right? So I should have made those hard truths, I should have really set obtainable goals for the children that were interested in forestry. Like if they wanted to do something in forestry, I would tell them something that they could achieve, right? And something that they could actually do and would likely end up doing. Versus taking 4-year college degree, getting $60,000 in debt, fucking not being able to get a job. Right. So, I could have done better on the message, but one of these moms come up to me and says, "Did you tell these kids not to get a 4-year degree in forestry?" And I said, "Yes, because there are not many opportunities to do forestry." And so she reported me to the camp administrator who told me not to do it. We're living in a fucking idiocracy. Well, that's more of a government. We're living in an idiotic world because people just don't want to accept hard truths. They don't want to accept it, and they know deep down that, and they're coping with it too. That's the funny thing, is these individuals are often unhappy, right? They're coping with the fact that they're wrong inside and that it's not actually true. Right? You'll be much better off telling people what they actually should hear. They will be much better off. You will be much better off accepting the fact and trying to obtain reasonable goals. Like, for example, I want to climb Mount Everest, but is it actually likely that I'll obtain that goal and have the money and have the time and be able to get the experience and get able to permits? No. So maybe I should climb Mount Rainier, right? Because I'm not going to able to achieve every goal that I set forth. So my goals should be reasonable, right? So I want to climb Mount Rainier, right? And if I do Mount Rainier and I find out that I'm able to do Denali, then hey, my goal next is to do Denali, right? Do you see how much more positive that is? Because your soul won't get crushed. Your goals won't be crushed. Your dreams won't be crushed if you set them to reality, because they're more likely to happen. And they're still big goals. Climbing Rainier is a big fucking goal. That's very impressive. Climbing Rainier, I mean, it looks like a big ass scary mountain. I mean, fuck, it's scary. I've seen Rainier. It's fucking scary as fuck. Right? So if you can climb that, you're already better than 99.9% of people, and that's just a fact. So yeah, I mean, I was really pissed at that mom. I could have sold the message better, but what she should have told me is she should have told me, you know, maybe what you should do is sell your message a little bit better. But I'm glad that you told these children that getting a job in forestry is difficult, and you'd probably be better off in a main career doing something else, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's the type of person I am. I don't like uncomfortable truths. This is why I followed the black pill. Now, why did I leave the black pill? It was because I found out that in reality, that there were ugly guys getting with kind of pretty girls, right? It wasn't, I'm falling into the comfortable lies camp, right? And again, I think that there are hard truths that are just too extreme. Like, just be white, right? The idea that if you're mixed race or black, then you'll have a lower success rate and you're not going to be able to get anybody as a result, or you have a significantly lower chance of getting anybody as a result. Like, first of all, that can cause very bad racism towards those individuals. And I don't mean to be woke. This isn't woke. This is like, really, you can cause racism by having that view. Maybe that is true, but it's not, you're giving your audience a negative mindset, which is very harmful. It's very, very harmful to give your audience there's no way you can be happy with a mindset like that by something like just be white. But no, the majority reason why I left the black pill was because I found at my college, and I found through social friendships, that this basically is not as true as it seems. And if it were true, then the human population would have been fucked a long time ago. Right? So, I mean, there are uncomfortable truths that are actually good to know. Like I said, there's a hierarchy of beauty, right? Overweight people are probably not going to get others, right? If somebody came to me and they were overweight and they were my friend, they said, help me get a date, because let's say I'm taken and they're not even interested in me anyway. Help me get a date. And by the way, before you leftists come on and say I'm an incel, I'm in a relationship. I've had girls before. So fuck off, you fuckers. You know who I'm talking about. Help me find a date, I would say you have to lose weight in order to do that. That's what I would say to them. I wouldn't say anything else except that. Well, I would say, if you start now, right, and you're working towards that goal, and you can really build momentum, and you'll be a lot happier in life by losing the weight. And you know that I'm right. That's what I would say to them. You know that this is the right thing to do, is to lose weight. And what I would say is, I'm not going to tell you any differently, because if I told you any differently, I would be selling you a lie. That's what I would say to them. So, that's the type of friend I am. Now, one last chapter that I want to do before signing off is leftist politics and a leftist worldview. So under a leftist worldview, we kind of touched up on this. Everyone is equal. Everyone has the same capability. Let's see, what else? Everyone should be able to, or let's see here. Those are a couple, but what are some others? Everyone should be able to have a free, or able to afford a house, and everybody should be able to make it in society. And we should have a system that does that. And that's possible. Those are all comforting lies, right? The idea that everyone is equal. Every culture is the same, and there are no superior, inferior ones. Now, I understand that to many people, that I'm from many different. There would be universal disagreement over it as humans, but I think a lot of people, whether they want to accept it or not, would probably say there are superior cultures and there are inferior cultures, right? Some fucking tribe out in Central Asia or Africa or whatever, eating people's hearts out and fucking raping women is an inferior culture. It is an inferior culture. I'm sorry, but it's true. It's an inferior culture. And this is why I don't like leftists, is because they're not willing to, they're not able to admit it on a surface level, but deep down, they know that this is the truth. And that's why they're so unhappy about it, because they just can't come to the conclusion that some cultures are superior and some cultures are inferior, right? And they can't come to the truth that not everybody is equal, of equal capability, right? And not everybody is going to make it in life. And you see what I'm saying? Let's see another one. Transgenders. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have anything wrong with transgenders, but transgenders don't have a higher rate of mental illness compared to the general population, which is so totally bullshit, right? These are all comfortable lies that they tell themselves, but they constantly flip out and break out into tears because they know deep down that their whole philosophy is just not true. It's just not true, and they know that, and that's why they're mentally insane individuals, right? So just don't be a leftist. It's that easy. Just don't be a leftist. And like, if you were to talk to a leftist about minimum wage, right? The comforting truth that minimum wage, it would help the lower class, or, well, first of all, most minimum wage workers are just children trying to get work experience. But the idea that minimum wage can be raised and it would solve all our problems, right? is an uncomfortable lie, because they know deep down, when a right-winger argues with them about inflation and how it's going to impact everyone negatively by raising the minimum wage, right? They still don't accept that. They're still not willing to accept an uncomfortable truth like that, because in their worldview, these people can be helped, and there's always an easy way to help people. And so, yeah, the truth is that there are no easy fixes to helping the working class by giving them more money. There is no actual truth that everybody can make it in society and there won't be any poverty, because there absolutely will be. So anyways, and the thing is, the last thing I want to emphasize on is that leftist politics often make these hard truths even worse. So if a leftist is in charge, then that means that more people will be in poverty. I mean, just look at Canada. More people will be in poverty. Inflation will go higher in trying to help the poor people, because we could just raise their minimum wages and everything will be solved, right? When there is no easy solution like that, that would actually help them. You know what I mean? So leftists actually exacerbate these hard truths even more, of poverty and of the underclass having and just poverty in general. I would say other things too, but yeah. Sorry that I kind of stumbled during this video, but I hope that I got my point across. It's been a tiring day. College has taken a lot out of me. So anyway, see ya.